Okay, so I'm exactly where I left off from finishing Blastman, and now we're going to tackle the Diveman scenario. Scenario is a little bit more complicated, not terribly much so. Full synchro is, maybe not even so much full synchro, but battles in general are a lot more important in the Diveman scenario. Especially since you can really, I guess, just reset and grind out a good Blastman time. By the way, I think the aim for Blastman, and I should have said this in the last video, was anything under 12 minutes is good, but right around 11:30, maybe even as low as 11:20 is probably ideal. Buy as many sneak runs as you can here. If you can buy 4, that's fine. Buy 4. There's no reason not to, honestly. It's going to save you time in the long run. Don't forget this key data. You'll run past it a lot, probably, and have to reset. Oops. That's all we had to do on the net. We just had to come talk to these statues. This will activate a cutscene, which we skip. Then we can just leave and go to sleep, which will advance to the next day. You actually can't skip that cutscene until Dr. Hikari stops moving. You're gonna be holding down a lot while in a central school. A lot. Coming out of there, you hold down left. And you basically want to just hug the walls a lot. The less you change direction, the less frames you lose. A lot of the walking parts of these videos are likely going to be silence. It's just nothing really that needs to be explained about the walking for the framey movement, I guess. You only need to cover that once, though. So this fight is the first fixed fight that is really an issue. This is a pretty average draw, honestly. Actually, it's a lot better than average. If you draw a Fireburner here, this fight actually is going to go really well. If you draw Guard, that's usually the best you're going to do. Fireburner is a little rare. I'm going to go ahead and put the +10 on that. So wherever this guy moves, we want to follow him and do this. Would it be better to wait for a counter hit? If he goes up, that's a lot easier. When he goes down, I get a little sketched out by the bubbles. Guard goes a lot similar. Excuse me. But depending on your other chip draws, you might not be able to finish the battle in one turn. It's totally fine. It's almost always a quick 2-round. And now we have to go back and talk to Mick again. Oh. So, something, when you come in through here, if you hold up, you'll run into this seat. But if you kind of hit this wall first and hold up, you won't. So it's generally quicker to go in through the bottom door. And then if you just do that little thing where you bump the wall and then hold up, you won't get stuck on any geometry. I don't know why it's different. It shouldn't be different, but it is. So just keep it in mind and do it that way and you won't get stuck. Now we have to go to the net. So there is actually a copy damage in a BMD, and you can pick that up anytime after you've bought sneak runs, but I don't pick it up until the Heatman scenario. If you plan to do an edit before Heatman, or before, well, if you plan to do an edit in this split at all, you should pick up the copy damage because it's going to come in handy. You want to use a sneak run anytime you're running through central area. It's the only place they'll work. They don't work in Seaside. You have to talk to this guy before advancing. It's very important. If you don't, then you're going to have to go back and talk to him. That's all there really is to say. This path right here, here, it's the copy damage. I'm not going to pick it up just because it's going to make my edit a little more painful later on. If I do. I guess I could put it in a Diveman, but even then it's still making it a little more painful. You should have enough time on the sneak run to get it now, but definitely when you were running to the statues, you would have been totally fine to get it. Oh, it's a bad habit turning there. You can actually just hold down and it's faster. Okay, so now of all places, obviously the plunger program is going to be in our own bathroom. You go in here, you have to talk to Mom. I usually spam R while I'm spamming B. Which might be bad on my part because I just haven't memorized when the last text box is. This battle's kind of a pain, but this is actually a really good chip draw. The best chip draw is Fireburner or Guard. If you draw Fireburner or Guard, you want to take a crack shot, take Fireburner or Guard, you want to counter hit the first Metar, then you want to move down to this square, wait for this guy's shockwave to hit you, and then counter it with Guard, or if you have Fireburner, you just wait for him to get to the bottom and shoot, and that'll take care of them. It'll always be a one round. Alternatively, if you can take 3 chips with, or if you get 2 additional chips of the same code that you can take with Crackshot, as long as none of them are air shot, you should be good to go. There might be combinations where you can do it with air shot as well, but I'm not sure. Never really had to deal with that. Mini bomb counter hit timing might take a little practice, but Metars in particular, it's pretty easy. Ideally that battle is 1 round, because it's actually not uncommon. Usually you have a bunch of guards. But if it's a quick 2 rounds, that's fine as well. Enjoy not getting battles while it lasts, because pretty soon that's going to be gone. We can't, well, we can sneak run, but it doesn't work in Seaside. Generally, you'll get 2 encounters in here. If you get 3, that's pretty bad, but I wouldn't reset over it. Unless the battle takes really, really long, and your time is pretty optimized. So this is actually, despite having tons of health, these are nice viruses to see. Except when you get hit. So you can get Longsword S there. If you do get Longsword S, you're definitely going to want to put it in your folder, and I'll mention when you should be doing the folder edit later on. It's not too distant. Another chance to redeem myself. There we go, we got Longsword S, so easy demonstration, I guess. A couple of times I've only got one encounter in this area, and considering the only chips you can pick up are Longsword S and Train Arrow, you'll probably get Train Arrow later, and you probably won't even get Longsword S. I was very lucky to pick that up. It's really good to skip an encounter there, because sometimes they can take a while as well. I pretty much turn when I would run into the corner of this, like around here, I guess, and that works. It doesn't really matter when you turn, I think, but you want to hit the hitbox as early as possible. You don't want to do that. Be more careful with your movement than I am. In fact, it doesn't matter if you go past like this. Like that doesn't really take any more time. It just looks cleaner when your corner cuts are smoother. So that's what I tend to do. But it's actually kind of a bad idea. You can lose a lot of time if you go back on yourself because you turn too early. Or if you just run into the corner. So when we wake up, this is going to be the Navi Customizer tutorial, and this is also where you want to edit your folder. So since I got Longsword S, I'm going to edit my folder. This doesn't happen super often, so I haven't thought a lot about what to take out for it. At this point, I wouldn't scroll down to take out the white capsule. I think I would just do one sword. And since there's only one thing, it's actually not quicker to double tap to get them out. Just one and one. Just swap them. And you do the Navi Cust program. This is a lot of spamming. If your Blast Man is very reset heavy to get it started, I'm not going to like this part. There's a reason I'm alternating between A and B, by the way, just to minimize the chance of extra dialogue boxes appearing, because they will if you press the wrong button. You'll get used to that really quick, though. If you just run straight there, you run into Dr. Hikari. So you have to do kind of a dip down. You don't have to go very far, though. And try not to, because if you do, you'll hit the couch, which is just as bad. Maybe slightly not as bad. If you just run straight up, you'll talk to the penguin. If you take a slight dip up and left, you'll talk to Mick. Even if it looks like you should still talk to the penguin. Usually. So in here we have to talk to all of these. We don't have to talk to any people. And yes, these tanks do count, but the jellyfish don't. You don't have to talk to the jellyfish. This next one always screws me up. I got it. It's the run. Okay, that one got me. Never mind. As far as I'm currently aware, the movement that I'm doing is pretty much optimal. If it looks like I made a mistake though, I probably did. Don't trust my movement too much. You should go up around that guy as well. It's slightly faster. But for the most part, my movement's pretty good, I think. Okay, that was bad. Alright, so coming out of here, as soon as you get to the second line of this checker pattern, you should go up and left, talk to Fanny, because then you can just hold down into the cutscene. And now, we don't have to go outside, we just have to go down the staircase. We skip 2 cutscenes and it puts us outside. And now this next cutscene is easily the stupidest one in the game. Not because of any content, because you talk to this copybot, you skip the cutscene, and it doesn't put you in the copybot. It will happen at least once. You'll forget to re-talk to the copybot, and you will run back to the aquarium, and you will have to reset, probably, unless it's a really early run. Make sure you talk to the copybot. Just memorize that you have to talk to it twice. The cutscene does not put you in the copybot, which is really, really dumb. I think I've done it once, and pretty much everyone I know who runs this game a lot has done it once. Runs or has run, I guess, at this point. You will do it at least once, even if you don't think you will. So casually, these comps can be kind of a pain. I actually kind of liked them because of the way that I just liked that you could send Mega out, or you could send Lan out to look for hints. I don't remember exactly how I felt about it other than that. It was a long time since I played this game for the first time. Almost always get an encounter there. And okay, so let me tell you something about Quakers. You don't want to see them. That's all you need to know. You don't want to see Quakers. If you see Quakers, they're going to ruin your day. You have attack plus 10 in your nav because now though. Oh my god. Quakers are going to ruin your day. It actually doesn't matter what order you do the programs in this comp. This is the way I learned them, and I don't have any reason to change it, I guess. it seems fine. It's the way the task does them. The order the task does them, I should say. Some of the movement the task does is a little bit too crazy. Actually kind of an early encounter, I think. These assholes again. Okay. We got long swords, so it's not so good. Alright, so this guy, 3, counter hit. As the wave moves for the first time, that's when you want to counter hit him. And the puppies is kind of just a timing thing. You've got to feel that one, basically. You might be thinking that it's strange that the counter hit timing for Quakes got changed. In BN1 it was as they jumped, or as they landed, and in this game it's as they jump. Did I say BN1? I meant BN3. It is strange, and I don't understand it. I think it should be as they land. It's as much as I'm gonna say on that. A lot of the time, if you'd have to wait like quite a while to get full synchro and kill the virus at the same time, it's probably quicker not to get full synchro, even though full synchro is really important and you should always try to have it at the end of a fight so that you have it at the start of the next. As long as you're within, I believe, 3 tiles of these, you will counter hit them with guard. Like if you're in the front or in the back, that's the most distance. If they're in the back and you're in like the middle, I don't think it'll work. So the order you do the programs in this comp actually does matter, and I don't think it matters in the next comp either, it's just this one. You want to do this one first. And you don't want to screw this one up when you do it first, trust me. Just don't do it, you're gonna have a bad time. Puppies will attack more. Oh, the counter hit timing for the piranhas is pretty obvious. Just when the cursor hits you, you want to shoot. And that varies a little bit with certain chips. So this program actually used to be... Okay, for a while it was really easy. Then I learned what the task does, kind of, and then it was really hard. You want to pause there. There's a better way to do it. When you turn the corner, you want to pause until you get to like the next corner of the wall, depending on how early you paused. But as long as you walk for like a second, I guess, maybe a second and a half, you'll be fine to do what I just did. Crackshot and Cannon have about the same counter hit timing. Vulcans and air shots are more instant, I guess is the word. Vulcans are a little more lenient though, as they have 3 shots. The little runny, I ran pretty close to that red shark, but that one's actually pretty safe, so don't worry about that too much. Right here you want to stop and start. You don't actually have to walk that long, but it's a good like visual cue. And if you walk too little, then you'll get tagged by the shark. So it's better to just walk for longer and be totally safe, in my opinion, and I could be wrong. I wait a little longer with the air shot. It is possible to counter hit them after they fire the arrow, but the arrow will hit you and you'll lose full synchro, so it's not really worth. I don't think the order matters in this comp much, as long as you don't do the one I'm gonna do second first. Do any other one first. It's unfortunate. Don't try to counter hit them if they jump in the back row, it's not going to work. These guys, you want... Cannons take the longest, so you're going to want to shoot the cannon like literally as soon as the cursor hits you. The reason I do this one first, by the way, is I don't really have a good reason. I just do this one first. But again, the most important thing is not to do the second one first. Doesn't matter when you do any of them, as long as the second one is not first. The shark pattern is a little different. You don't actually lose much time at all. You can't run through here. You have to take a longer loop down around. If you lose a few seconds, that's about it. Don't like this. There we go. Why did I do that? It is possible that you'll get all the components for the wave arm PA in here. If you do notice that, feel free to put it in your folder. It does alphabet soup it up a little bit. TAS does a pretty crazy thing here. I I tried it a little bit. Doesn't work RTA, so don't try it. Unless you're some kind of insane half human, half machine with perfect precision. Just don't try it. It's not worth it. As long as you do the same thing, by the way, the sharks will... I didn't take the crack shot. Sharks will always do the same thing also. I could have taken the Vulcan as well. Really? No count? Thought I timed that one correct. Oh, the one chip that you should definitely be keeping track of in here is train arrow. Keep track of how many train arrows you have, and also keep in mind that you can only put 3 in your folder. So after you have 3, you don't need to keep track anymore. Might also want to put wave arm Fs in. I wouldn't put any of the other codes in though, unless you have the PA. Even then, it's up in the air. Sad. So in this next edit, I'm going to talk about priorities on removing things, I guess. Why I do what I do. So I believe that I got 3 train arrows and no wave Fs, which is not correct. I only got 2 train arrows. So in the case that you're wrong about how many chips you have, if you have too few, whatever, just put in the train arrows first. If you counted too many, like in this case I'd throw in the wave arm 1, E. Just throw in whatever you can, basically. Try to aim for codes that are a little better, but don't like make the edit take too long. So for this edit, if you get 3 chips, you could take out 3 Vulcans. If you get 2 chips, I almost always take out 2 swords. Mini Bomb L I know is a shitty code, but so is D. And the mini bombs are actually pretty useful against Diveman. Air shots are also not super useful, but they're a star code. Usually I try to aim for the swords and the Vulcans first. The mini bombs will be taking out in another edit later on. Well, since I have 2 chips, I'm going to take out like a Vulcan and a sword. Typically I'd take out 2 swords, but I don't want to go less than 2. And I already have 1 longsword. You could go less than 2. There's almost literally no reason not to. They're slightly useful against Diveman, however. And S is still a pretty good portion of your folder. It's good for flow. So Diveman will pop up on the 3rd square after he goes down. So it's 1, well, 2nd movement, 3rd square. If you shoot with that timing, you will counter hit him. If he doesn't attack, the reason Diveman is the worst boss in the game is because he doesn't always attack, even though his movements are always the same. Don't get in a position like that. Now, I did put longsword in my folder. Ideally, you would draw life sword when he's at, I'd say 300 or greater, and then any less than that, it's not a huge deal. Train arrow is also really good. If you got a tornado from a GMD, that's really good. And if you got Mach Gun, that's pretty good. I'm gonna try to hit him with his longsword. This panel's gonna screw with me a little bit. Alright, there we go. Oh, I thought he was coming up! Don't worry, it's fine. Okay, so the reason mini bombs are useful is because they can actually hit him when he's underwater, which I didn't demonstrate very well there, but now I will, maybe? No. Okay, well trust me, they can. As can Fireburner, so keep that in mind. Definitely demonstrate that one. You should be charging anytime you're not firing a chip, basically. See, it will snap him to his next position. Man, this is terrible. In situations like this, I mean, it's kind of a toss-up whether you want to take the highest damage chip or you want to sort through your shitty codes so you're more likely to draw something that you already have one of. I'm not going to kill him this turn either way, so I'm going to take the Vulcan. But basically all that was going through my head there was, wow, this is a shitty draw. That's hopefully everything you need to know about the Diveman scenario. Hopefully. I probably didn't miss anything. If for some reason you do feel like you need a little bit of extra HP, there's one in this ladder. I'm not going to pick it up though. Well, HP memory. That's one of the ones that's really quick to pick up, and if you do feel you need extra HP, you can go ahead, but I can tell you right now we're going to end the game with 1060 HP, so it's probably not going to be an issue. In fact, we'll be getting a lot more HP really soon, and for the next stretch, it's not even going to matter because we're going to be playing as Heatman for most of it. And with that said, this is also where Falzar changes are going to come in. I'll try to do some Falzar stuff. I'll try to mention it anyway. I might record the Aquacross scenario since it's so drastically different. It's the only part of the game that is really drastically different. However, I don't really know if I feel like doing that. I don't know. I don't know enough about Falzar to really say a lot about it, but I'll try to point out specific differences as we go along from here out. Thank you for watching, and I hope it helps